Hello, I'm Sean Bridges. I'm from the Texas Hill Country, and I'm presenting High Moon. A group of good, bad, and ugly bounty hunters find themselves up against a clan of shapeshifters in the desert of West Texas in 1959. The main character, Wayne Talbot, is a hunter past his prime. He's a loner who's forced to be a leader in this action-filled supernatural neo-western. Now, along with the idea, I also have a feature-length screenplay in solid shape. I have graphic novel images of characters, scenes, locations. I have a playlist of song choices from the era. I believe in this idea so much that this summer I created a proof-of-concept short film.
Hello and welcome to the RV Book Fair. I'm your host, Lucia Matuonto, and today we are taking a cinematic turn to talk about the trailer of an upcoming film called High Moon. Joining me today, Sean Bridge, the director. Hello, Sean. How are you doing?
Very nice. It's always nice to be here. Thank you for bringing me back to the RV Book Fair. It's always a nice time.
My pleasure, Sean. And I have also Anna Maria Wright. She's an actress and she's also participating in the trailer. So, Anna Maria, how are you doing today? Where are you today?
I'm doing good. I just moved to Atlanta. I've been here for 8 days, so super excited.
Wow, Atlanta. I've never been there. So, when I go there, I'll definitely send you a message. Okay.
Please do. That'd be so fun to get together.
As now we have also Kenneth Wayne Bradley. So, Ken, he's an actor, and I'm super happy to see you again, Ken.
But you said incredibly talented and gifted actors, so that's my exit cue. I'm out.
Get back here. Get back here.
Okay. And also, it's new for me. Also, is Heath Allyn. So,
Yes.
Heath, welcome to the book
Thank
fair.
you.
He's an
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and also musician. Am I correct?
That is correct. I split my time between the two all the time.
So let's start by getting to know each of you a little better. Could you each tell our audience a bit about yourselves and your background in the film industry? Let's start with the ladies first, Anna Maria.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I started in film when I was 16. I actually kind of got into the whole industry. I was with the semi-professional children's choir when I was 7, and then when I was 12, I found musical theater. So that's where I got introduced to acting. And then I had moved when I was 16, so I was really far away from any theaters. And COVID had just happened, so I was like, let me try my hand at film. And have been doing that ever since and really, really love it. Musical theater always holds a special place in my heart for sure, but I'm just so excited that I get to have a career in film.
And I think you were so amazing. I was checking your IMDb and your participation in Haimo, and I believe your talent is innate. Can I say that?
Oh, thank
Innate?
you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And Sean, Sean, let's dive right into Haimo. The trailer looks so amazing. So, what is the film about? And what
It's
inspired
basically
you?
it's a Western werewolf. It's a spaghetti Western werewolf movie. It's a script I wrote years ago. It got some Hollywood attention. I was with CAA and it went around the circuit, but it's tough in LA to get, nobody does anything till someone else does. So it was a thing I found when I was with CAA, and it was just tough to get traction. So it was a script that went in my writer's trunk, basically, but I've always loved the material. And after Gun Barrel Highway came out, which was my first professionally published novel, I was thinking, what should I do next? And High Moon was always something I had in the back of my mind is I'd love to bring this to life, not as an audio production, which is something that we've been doing for a few years now, or as a novel. I really felt like it deserved to be a screenplay. It was written to be a screenplay, deserved to be a film. And then I thought, well, how can I go about making that come to life realistically, trying to be, you know, how would I bring this material best to life? How do you make a movie in this climate and in this day of age when the industry is changing so much? And I think the indie market is really coming back into fold. And I thought, let's see if we could shoot a proof of concept or a short film. And I also, with where we live, we're in Central Texas, and I had worked with amazing actors on the audio project. With Ken, have worked with on everyone. Heath, I've worked with on everyone, and I wanted definitely to bring them in. But I always love to bring in new voices and new people as well. And this just seemed like a fun thing to do. And it was like, well, let's shoot a short film. And I then started to assemble a solid crew, mainly from San Antonio and Austin and the Hill Country. I was really fortunate to pull all these pieces together with the idea that I was self-financing this and we would basically be shooting this in a day. It was a long, like 14-hour day, but I had everything plotted out kind of like I would do on the audio project. But this was a completely different gamut because it involved camera and lighting and crew and basically we had about 30 people on set working from morning till literally midnight, shooting different setups, different takes. So I wanted that short period of time that we had to look like as many setups and many things we could get, as many actors as we could bring in, scenes we could set up. Then when we started to go into post-production on this little short film, we cut together a trailer, and I was just so pleased with how that came out. And anybody who had seen it was really impressed with the end result. So it's a step on the way of making this, and I've done steps since we actually shot this over the summer. But I'm very pleased with how this is coming to life, and I see this as a movie. That's where this is going.
Definitely, yeah. And Ken, you've had a real interesting career across both film and television. Can you share one performance that you've especially proud of, something that you did and you say, wow, I can't believe I had this role? Or
Lucia, I'm going to give you the stock answer first. I love them all because it means work. It means I'm getting to work, and try to put myself into every one of them. So when I look back, it's different when you're doing it from when you look back at it. And I look back at different performances, and there was a performance I did in a series called Longmire, where I played a serial killer named Stanley Keene. And a very sympathetic, grizzly guy who cut up his girlfriend, buried her in 4 different counties. And what was funny about that was that the neighbors here in Leander, they all watched the episode and all that and said, they came up to my wife, is he really like that? And I said, just play along. And so she'd go, yeah. So keep a watch on our house because you never know. But Stanley Keene was fun. I like playing characters like that. It's fun. It's play acting. It's what you dream of doing when you're a kid. And I played a cop who gets to shoot the bad guys, and I've been the bad guys who have been shot at. So, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Are you still living in the same neighborhood?
I do. I live in the same neighborhood, and the neighborhood, all the neighbors they're up on the joke now, so they know. They're like, oh, he's joking. He's not really like that. Am I? Am I not really?
So now, Heath, you are an actor and also a musician. Am I correct?
That is correct, yes.
So tell us a little bit about your band.
Well, I play in a bunch of bands. People, in fact, often say, how many bands are you in? And I'm like, I honestly, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. Because there's bands I'm like a full member of. There's bands I sometimes sit in with when they need me. And so that's kind of, as a freelancer, how you got to stay busy. No one of my bands like plays enough that I can make that my full-time gig. But it also keeps it fresh because I get to play in all kinds of different bands. I have a yacht rock band, and last night I played with an ABBA tribute band on bass. The night before I played with a Pretenders tribute band on guitar. I'm in a Beatles tribute band on bass, and so it keeps everything fresh and fun. And I'm also a part of a lot of like one-off projects. We'll have a lot of projects where we'll work up a show to play, for example, a whole album, and then we'll just do that one time, and then that show's over, and it's on to the next project. So it just it keeps it fun, and I like all kinds of music, so that's handy too. I get to kind of play it all, and I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so in all my different bands. So one band I play keyboard, guitar, and 2 saxophones. Another band I'm a bass player. Another band I'm a guitar player. Another band I'm just a singer. So it keeps me juggling.
Multi-talented.
Okay, now
I don't think there was never a project we did where Heath wasn't going to a gig right afterwards. Like
No, I
he would
didn't
record with us.
realize it until you said that. And you said that, and I
It was
thought
like-
about it, and I was like, I think you're right. I always have to leave to go to a gig from our sessions.
Like even on High Moon, I literally booked Heath's his scenes first because we had to get him out of there.
I had to go set up
in
for
that
a private
afternoon,
gig that
and that
afternoon.
was yeah. So that even on the Stephen King thing, any of the audio projects, it's funny. Heath is always like, we'll do early sessions because he's like, man, I got to be out by 2-3 o'clock. I'm like, all right, we'll get you out of there, bud. We'll
One
do
of
it.
these
And we do it.
days, one of these days, you're gonna book me when I have a day off and I won't have to be anywhere. And
Just hang out with us. No, we've
take
been
our time.
Times we're like, oh, we wish Heath was still here, man. We do that a lot.
It is so good to be able to play an instrument. I wish I could, but I cannot. There are many things that I can do, but singing and playing, no way. Singing even is worse. I cannot sing even in the shower. No.
Hey, the shower is the place where anyone can sing, and you can speak quite a few languages, which is more than most people can say. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm not a good dancer.
I am. You are, Anna.
No, I'm not a good dancer. Yeah.
No, you're not.
No. If I have an instrument in my hand, I'm comfortable and I can get on stage. But like if you're just like put on some music and dance, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I think that's how it is for most people, unless you just own it and be weird. So you can do that, or you can go, I took some like waltzing classes and like line dancing. So, but you had to do classes before you like show up to an event. But then once you know it and take the time, then it's great. But so when I don't know that, I'm just being weird and in the corner doing what I want because nobody knows how to dance.
Luckily, I can follow choreography. So like if I'm in a show and they show me a dance, I can follow steps. So I would say I'm an actor who can move, but like I don't go dancing. But like I would take, if I took like a dance class or something, that would be different. Right?
Yeah, did you ever dance on stage, any theater shows? I don't think I've ever, I could see you doing that in a theater performance.
I think Ken can dance. Ken, can you dance?
No. I buy into the choreography thing.
Yeah.
I did some musical theater in college.
Yeah,
and when
I could so see that.
When they taught me the steps, I was fine. But on my own, I look like what's her name in Seinfeld.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. This is Sean's next film. Will be a musical starring me, Ken, and Anna Maria. Us three in a musical. Anna Maria will probably look great, while me and Ken will look awkward.
What I love is I would still find a way to get you guys in there. I'd be like, all right, it's all dancing review.
Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah, you guys are in.
That's our next meeting.
We are now change the subject from dancing to screaming. Okay?
Where are we going?
I dropped you off up here.
Hey!
That's the end of we.
How many of those things are out there?
You wouldn't happen to give away wishes, would you?
Let me out of here!
I got bit.
Get behind me.
Anna, I have to ask. I'm very curious about it. That screen scene, was it something you planned and practiced, or was it completely natural and like in the moment?
Yeah, for screams, I like to keep it, I don't like to practice because usually I'm filming for a lot of days, even if it's like a one and done, and I'm just shooting for one day, screaming doesn't feel good for anyone's voice. And in film, we do multiple takes. So we got that done in one take, but you do a second one that's called safety, just in case something happens to the first take, so that, if you lose the footage, it doesn't like, ruin the whole film and you don't have to go reshoot or just, live with that clip not in it. So yeah, it was funny with that one. And with screams, you really have to commit. The camera catches everything. You can't lie. So if you're being fake, not only will they see it in my body and on my face, but for the sound of a scream, if you're holding back at all, the audience is gonna know, and it's gonna really take you out of it. So it's really important as an actor to go all in and commit. So with the scream, I was a little nervous. I was excited. I really wasn't sure what it was gonna sound like because, like I said, I don't practice it, before I do it. So I remember we were there, we were shooting stuff, and the one thing that I had, because it also feels a little silly sometimes, because you're acting and those things aren't actually happening to you. So you really have to like get yourself in the zone, be committed, be there, be present. And it was funny because we were shooting some things, and by the time Sean was like, "Okay, we're gonna shoot your scream next," I'm sitting out on like the second story kind of balcony area where we're shooting, and it's at this museum where people are taking tours, and there had not been children there the entire morning. And right when Sean was like, "Look, we're gonna shoot your scream next," I see a group of children coming out of the building right across from us, and I'm like, wow, I am gonna scare these children. Like, what timing? So kind of something that I really aimed for was for my voice and for everything, and to just not feel like weird about it myself of like, yeah, I'm screaming for no reason. I was like, let me get this done in one take. I'm gonna go all in. I do not want to have to scream like more times than it is necessary. And I really like, also there's children. So let me just, it's gonna sound really scary, but let me try to do it so good to the best of my ability that I can just get it done in as few takes as possible. And so that really helped me get out of my head too, because sometimes it does feel a little silly and you have to just commit, and be present and just totally go for it. So I mean, everyone was curious, I'm sure, what it was going to be like and sound like. I was also curious. And then we got there, and I just really got in the moment and then just gave it my all. And I was super excited about how it turned out. It looks great. And sometimes I watch that and I'm like, I did that. Like, that's kind of crazy. It sounded so guttural. Like, I'm not sure. I just really, my diaphragm really helped me there. So,
No, it was super good. And the another question is, did you feel did you think about something? Was there like you imagined that a monster was coming, or you just screamed?
Yeah, for this I did just scream because oftentimes as actors, it looks really cool, when it's done. But when you're in the moment, there are so many moving pieces, so it's really technical. So you have to remember your lines, you have to remember to act and to listen to the other characters and what they're saying and react. But you also have to know, where's the camera? Don't look at that. There's marks on the ground and you can't look down because then it's like, oh, they're actors. So there was a lot of movement in that scene as well. So there wasn't too much time. My main thing that got me there was I don't want to have to do this more times, so let me just really, and I was like, there's children here, so let me just do it so good and just get it done, if just have it be so good. So I didn't think too much about it. It was more just a little bit nervous too, of like, would it sound good? Can I get it out? So it was more just let me get this done. It was kind of like a challenge. So.
And it's
Yep.
very
It was so
cool.
surreal when we shot it. We shot it in a little tiny hot room. It was hot as hell with the lights and everything. And we had built this little office, and it was Heath and Anna, and they were dressed in wardrobe. And I saw them and thought, we have to get this done fast because it's just ungodly hot in this little area. It stopped everybody. And I was on the floor. So I was kind of watching her performance live. The costume designer, Griselda, had filmed it on her phone. And so that was the kind of the first time we saw it, and people were blown away by that. Then when the editor got the footage, he just grabbed it, and I let him kind of do a cut of the trailer, like, just here's all the raw footage, take the pieces and assemble. And he came back with the cuts he kept coming back with. That became a cornerstone, that little end, Anna's scream kind of taking us to the title. And it was just, but it floored everybody in the moment. And then as people keep seeing it, people keep bringing it up to me that love I love the trailer. They mentioned Anna and that scream. It's wild. So I just love that we captured that quick in the moment, but I love that it's resonating. It's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That was really cool. It was funny too, because right after, there was a lot of people outside, because it was a small building, and you want to get everyone who's needed in the room and everyone else out so you have space to work. And it was funny because after I shot that scene, I came out, and there was a father there with his kids. They were there helping, and he was like, yeah, we were all sitting at the picnic table, and then like I heard your scream, and I looked over there, and just my dad instincts came in, and I was like, I wanted to run towards the danger. And it was just so fun hearing throughout the day people being like, my heart dropped, like, you scared me. And even my mom watching it, and she was like, I'm so glad I wasn't there when you did your scream, because like, even though I know it's acting, like, it just makes me feel like, something's happening and something's wrong. So yeah, it was kind of crazy.
It was very Fay Ray. That's how I saw it. I just heard King Kong and from the 40s or 50s or what. It was very that kind of like, wow, kind of just striking moment. It was really nice. I love that stuff because you don't anticipate it. I didn't think that was going to be anything, a big deal. And it was like, oh, that even the end scene, the stuff we shot at the very, very end when the crew was ready to basically mutiny and string me up because we were already like 14 hours in. A lot of that footage made it in the trailer, and that was Ken and Anna. And so you just don't know what you grab sometimes when you've got the camera going and you're on the move. All I'm doing is trying to get through the scenes, but I love little moments like that where you're like, you remember and go, oh, I'm going to file that away for something later. That was really sharp.
Yeah, and just staying ready for anything too, because like with some of the scenes that made it in the trailer, I think that was also only like we got it done in one take, and I think we did one more for safety. So like as an actor, just being ready for the schedule to change and knowing your stuff and knowing what you want to deliver, because there can be stress and pressure on set because it's fast paced and everyone's moving. So I was really happy that we were able to get the scream, and I was also just from the character standpoint of like, there is a giant crazy monster that's about to murder me. Like, that's a big deal. So I need to make sure that the scream aligns with what's happening in this world. So I feel like that really helped me be able to deliver that as well.
Mm-hmm. And Ken, you're so quiet. I have a question for you. So what was the atmosphere like on set for you? For example, there was any memorable or funny moments during the shoot?
He could probably make a whole other movie out of just the outtakes we did. It was a great atmosphere. Sean lends himself to a good atmosphere. He brings together people that like to work together. We all bought into the project, which is a big deal. We all bought into the material, and we had a good time. And that always lends itself to a good output in the end. So a funny story now, you were talking about screaming. Mine was not as good as Anna's, but I was in a movie once called Drive Angry, and they had to stab me through my leg. And they had this big prosthetic on, and the guy that built the prosthetic, he was like, there's no way that they're going to get the knife all the way through the prosthetic. So just let your scream out the minute they hit your leg, let it go. So we did the first take, and sure enough, it was Bill Fichtner, stabbed my leg, and the knife went all the way through the prosthetic, and the little point touched my leg. And I went, ah! Like a girl. And they kept it. And so it wasn't as organic as what Anna Maria did, but it worked. But no, there were a lot of great moments on set, and I'm proud of everything we did. That Sean builds a family around his material and the way he shoots, and when you're in that type of comfortable environment, you're comfortable to let loose. You're comfortable to explore. He gives you the room to explore, within the realm of his script. And those are my absolute favorite kind of projects.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I loved watching Ken and Anna off screen. They were just having the best time because we were shooting other things, and they really were kind of we concentrated and tried to move through so much. But I just loved watching Ken and Anna hang out. They were just having the best time of just bonding. So that was a neat feeling too.
That was the first day we had met. We had never known each other before then, and it was like being old friends for all of our lives.
Yeah, it was so fun. We were like best friends. We were running through some lines, and I took it really Gen Z, and it was so fun getting to play around. And one thing I will say about Sean too, that lends to the scream. A lot of directors, I mean, I've worked with a lot of different ones, but Sean was really cool because not only was he really listened to the actors for like what they wanted to bring to it, without compromising his vision, of course. But when we were in that small, hot little room filming that, he was on the ground and he grabbed my leg to help me with the timing of that for when he wanted me to scream. And I don't know that many directors that would literally get on a dirty, dusty, gross floor to help their actor and to help just like he's just so committed to the story and to this project. So that was like I was really impressed to see that he did that, and just such a team player, and had such a real vision, and also really allowed us all to be to use our own creativity and really fulfill these roles and bring them to life in a way that we saw. So that was really awesome to see.
That was a fun way because I got you and Heath to jump at the same time, and that was the only way we could kind of do it. So I remember just and working out with the cameraman, like, all right, I'm just going to grab him, and then I think both of you jolt at the same time, and it worked perfect. And it was like, that's it, that's what we got. And so it was able to just kind of like get it and move on. But yeah, I love that. That's always fun to play, is in the moment. Even costume. I remember looking at Ken's costume that the costume designer coming up with, and I hated the hat, and I'm like, no, let's go with this other hat. And it's always, you're moving so much. Heath, I think we ditched the coat, and he looked great in the vest, and he had his hair out, and I got him glasses because I thought, oh, this character should have glasses in the moment. So it's all these little details that you're constantly playing with, and you're bringing it all literally with a machine or a train that's moving forward. It's going down a track. So you're pulling all these pieces together to keep it moving.
So glad that Sean didn't want me to wear the coat in the 100-degree room.
Yeah.
I was like, you're right, Sean looks
so
much better without the coat.
It did. It was like, yeah, that was the way to go. I wasn't going to force. I felt we were suffering in that little square as it was. So like, why not make it any worse? Like, yeah, just you don't have a coat on now. We'll go with the vest. That was perfect.
And Heath, tell us about your character.
But this one, he's not in it for a long time, but he kind of sets the tension with me and Anna Maria. We sort of opened the whole trailer, and it was just so that's exciting to sort of be like the first thing people are seeing, and immediately just setting this tone of suspense and tension, and the way it was shot and everything. It was very minimal, so it wasn't like a bunch of dialogue or anything. It's just very tense. Something intense is going on. I'm fumbling with a gun, and something's knocking at a door, and so it's just so perfectly evocative of cinema and of motion pictures, about telling a story with lighting and the film and the scene, more so than like a dialogue heavy scene between two characters. So that was just a lot of fun to do, and it was fun and quick and easy. But it's like I think it was Ken who said it, but it's like, I was just thinking about this the other day. It really is still just like playing like you would when you're a kid, when you're like, hey, let's play like monsters were after us, but you get to do it as an adult now. It's like, okay, let's play like we're in this room and there's a big monster knocking at the door. Mm-hmm. And something, that Anna Maria said struck a chord with me too. And when she was like, when you asked her, like, oh, did you imagine, there's a big monster at the door to help you scream and all that. And to me, like, that's just, it sounds so stupidly simple. But for me, that's what acting is just imagining you're this person in this scene. That's what it is. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm Uncle Lon. I'm concerned for both of our lives here. We may be killed soon. We'll see. And just putting yourself in that, and you feel it, and that's I think the thing a lot of people don't understand about acting when they hear, when they hear actors talk about, oh, what a difficult thing it was, or oh, it was a very emotional scene, or it was a very intense scene because there's lots of, is that, from what I've heard anyway, like even though we obviously know we're pretending, your body doesn't know the difference. Whether you're really scared or you're just like, oh, I'm pretending to be really scared, your body doesn't know the difference. It's still producing the same chemicals. Yeah. And so it really does like take a toll. And when you'd be exhausted at the end of those long days from just being focused and in this character and in these scenes and all day long. And the people, for the people who appreciate art, I really appreciate that. But then there's the other people who, go like, actors, a bunch of babies, they just get paid for playing around, It's like, it's a little more than that. And also, pretty sure you probably consume lots of art to make your life better. So how about not denigrating the industry that makes all of our lives better with some relief and escape into fantastical stories and such?
Well, and Heath can take a small moment and just make it pop. And I learned this way early on when we first worked together. So initially he was going to play a different character in this. And as I started writing it and we were putting it together and deciding what scenes we were actually going to shoot for the proof of concept, this character popped up that didn't have a lot to do, but I thought Heath can take that and make something out of it. And he was able to do that. And he added some things because all I was really concerned with in this little tiny room was I had this list of shots that I wanted to get from the drawer opening, the gun, the fumbling, the reaction to the monster, the door breaking. There were all these different moving parts. And I knew putting Heath in that environment, he would do stuff that would just make it real. It would ring true. It would come across to the audience. And it did. And I saw him do it live. And then when we saw the footage, little things, even little comments that he made to himself in the moment. And it amped it up so much better. So when I had Heath and Anna next to each other and just different things were happening, I was so grateful that I got Heath and that part. And I've done this a couple times where when I've cast Heath and I'm like, I don't have to worry about that anymore because I know he's going to do something with it that's just going to work. And he does it every time. So yeah, nobody plays Manic better than Heath. And it's amazing how different he is off and on. When Heath's on, geez, it's really wild to watch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just remember Sean telling me about you before everything started.
Well, to Sean's credit, and everyone's kind of said it, is he's very organized. He knows what he wants, but he's also directors all have different, kind of ways they go about things. And I think Sean goes about it the way I've heard a lot of directors say you should go about it, which is that if you're a good director, if you've done good casting, 90% of your job is done because you're casting people that are going to do the job and you're not going to have to really work to get what you want out of them. That they're going to be able to deliver, and maybe I'll give them a tweak here or there. But and he's totally open to what everybody said, he doesn't need to do a million takes. If he gets what he needs on 1 or 2 takes, then that's done. We don't need to do 10 more takes just because we want options, or yeah, like, right. No, in my scene, I'm fumbling with a
Stephen King thing. I always think about the audio project we did for the Stephen King Dollar Baby. Watching Ken and Heath just work with each other is something that I still is one of my favorite moments we've ever done. And that was audio. So, and Ken and Heath didn't work on film on this one. They will if we do the movie, but it was funny to watch this. I love watching them work. But yeah, Heath's always he's just one of those guys that you just bring in and he's going to deliver, and you don't have to give him much. It's like, this is the scene. He played Manic through that entire Stephen King thing for a day, and he was just wiped out. But man, did he deliver! And so I just love that. I always feel comfortable when I bring, Ken and Heath and now Anna, certain people that you just connect with as actors. You're just like, yeah, I don't have to, I can focus on other things, which I have to do. So it's good not to have to
Well, and
worry
I
about
love
that.
that, I love that you're allowed to be a collaboration
Yeah.
because specifically like in our scene, I'm fumbling for gums, supposed to be loading a gun. And initially, as it was written on the page, I just have this gun and then, something's banging on the door. And so I told Sean before Shaw, I was like, hey, can I drop the gun? Because here's the thing, if I'm holding a gun with bullets in it and something's banging at the door, I'm going to unload that gun into the door. I'm not just going to stand there with a loaded gun
Right.
going, ah, ah. And so he was like, oh yeah, great. So we made that thing where I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm trying to load the gun and my hands are slippery and then I drop it, which explains like, why do I not shoot that door with all the bullets in my gun?
The only thing I remember talking about that going, oh, well, okay, I can see the gunsmith because he was over our shoulder and I'm like, where are we going to drop your revolver? Man? Is that okay?
I
Put
talked to the
something under there.
gunsmith. I definitely, I talked to the armorer and said, hey, is it okay? Or can we put a padding? And we put like a blanket on the floor because they had real nice, replica guns. And so we didn't want to damn. So he put like a blanket on the floor and I dropped it as gingerly as
But that's a
possible
good
while still
example
looking
of
realistic.
how you work. It's a cast and crew, director, cast, crew, everybody kind of like, hey, we're going to do this. Oh, okay. Who are the people that need to be involved in making this happen?
Yeah.
Is everybody cool? Okay, let's do it. And then you move. And so, yeah, cameramen.
And I just love that you didn't, sometimes in situations like that, as an actor, it's your job to give the director what they want. So you can give feedback like, hey, here's what I think. But on the flip side, like if Sean had been like, it doesn't have to make sense. It's a movie. Just hold the gun and you don't fire it. And it would have been, all right, that's what we're going to do then. And those situations were always hard because as an actor, you're like, this just doesn't make any sense, but okay. And so it's great when you can bring that and those go with me like, yeah, great. Let's do that.
Yeah, we had something in the script. There was same kind of thing with what happened with Heath. I got my blocking, which is I'm coming into the room and then I get behind Heath and I see this giant table of like these insane nails that are like so huge. And I was like, okay, like we blocked it out and I'm just standing next to him the whole time. And I'm like, okay, if this was actually happening to me, which is that's a really big thing that I do for all my roles is I bring myself into it. And like Heath said, it's imagining yourself in imaginary circumstances. So I was like, okay, if this was actually happening to me right now, I would not be, just chilling here behind someone. I see giant nails and like these crazy long scissors that like look like, super ancient. But I was like, hey, Sean, can I grab one of these things and like hold it in my hand or something? Because I just feel like, if there was something for me to grab to defend myself, I would do that because there's like a monster at the door. And he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm actually holding like that enormous nail in my hands for when we're doing that whole scene with the screaming and the get behind me. So that was another thing that wasn't technically in the script, but it made sense. And I'm glad that Sean was like, yeah, that worked. So.
Yeah, it made the scene better and more realistic.
Yeah, it did.
Ken, you and Heath both appear in Parasite Zero. I'm just bring up this subject because Sean told us that you're working together. It's an audio project. So what do you like most about, let's say, the audio format comparing to working on camera?
Well, the easy answer is that you get to cheat at audio. You have your script right in front of you. So you get to do it over and over again.
And Ken doesn't wear pants.
Never, not once. But when we get into the studio together, Sean has us all in there at the same time. He doesn't do different takes. He doesn't do singular takes with our lines. We're all in that studio behind a mic. So I can see Heath's face or Heath's face, and he can see mine. We can play off of each other's reactions, which is a big deal. And you can hear it even if you can't see it on a camera lens, you can still hear it in the voice. And it's really innovative. All the voice work that I had ever done before that, it was just You do your little part, come in, do your little part. I've done some video games and you're reacting off of this, but they don't have that other guy there. They just have yours. Sean took a completely different approach. He's like, let's all get in the studio together. And Heath and I are looking at each other. Poor Heath having to look at me the whole time. But we were able to play off of each other with that. And the whole cast too, not just Heath, but everybody in the room.
Yeah, it's really more like the old radio plays, more than like
I love those.
recording each actor by themselves on different days.
Exactly.
So you
We
record.
tried it and it doesn't work. I mean, we had days where we brought actors in and I thought we could fit it in editing, and it just sounds exactly like that. Like actors recorded on different days. I think having the actors literally play their scenes, and we do it usually in a circle. We set up 4 or 5 mics in the room, and so we bring in the actors for that scene, and we kind of rehearse it. I do 2 or 3 takes. We kind of get it. It's a lot of fun, but I love watching the actors work the scene with each other. And then when we add in the music and sound effects and background, it brings that whole scene to life. So we did Parasite Zero Part 1's been released now. Reviews are great. Audiophile Magazine's doing a thing on it in December, which is great. Part 2 is pretty much almost all recorded. We still got one more big session to get in the studio to that. So we'll bring the bulk of the cast back that's still alive to record the rest of that. And part 3, I'm writing now. I'm kind of sketching it out. So that'll be something we'll continue to do. So this has become this big project that I didn't foresee it would be at the beginning. But I honestly, any chance we get to work with Heath and Ken in the studio together is always a good time. And Tony and Patricia, just actors we love to work with. Luis, and we got to work with a lot of them on High Moon, even if it was just bit parts. I mean, Luis had one line. He ended up in the trailer. It cracked me up. I was like, yeah. And I threw the line at him at literally the last minute because I had the background actors doing it and he just delivered. I said, all right, you say that one. Tony, you go this one, Patricia. And, the editor grabbed him and put him in there and it sounded great. They look great. So, I love working with a troupe of actors that grow on every project we do, but they're just so much fun and so much, Ken said, it's kind of a family. We all love to work with each other. It's a lot of fun.
You're so lucky, Sean, to have like these people close by as a family. They are so close to you now. Anna Maria is not in Texas, but
I'll have to import her now.
Yeah.
We'll still find ways to bring Anna in the mix on the audio stuff. So even if she's a pilot or something like that, I'll figure out a way to bring her in.
Well, you can't get rid of me that fast. I'll be there.
And on the flip side of that coin, people like me and Ken, we are so lucky because we in an industry that is so largely built on rejection. As an actor, you spend the majority of your career being rejected. Mm-hmm. And so when you have somebody who comes back to you repeatedly, giving you more work and more roles and just seeking you out. You don't even have to audition. When Sean, that's why whatever Sean calls me to do, I will be there and I'll do it. Because he's given me so many great roles to do. And I just so appreciate, it makes you feel like a star when someone just calls you directly. It's like, I'd like you to play this part in my thing. I'm like, well, then I'll be there.
Audition. Yeah, I need to tell you, the first time I interviewed Sean was in the beginning of last year, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, about a year.
And Sean, he was talking about his book, and he told me about this script. And he said, I would love to make it a proof of concept, but I'm not sure. And then I read it. I said, Sean, you need to do it. And you are able to do it. That's fantastic. And then we kept in touch. And then when he told me, Lucia, I'm going to do it, I was super happy because he is someone who is not only competent, he's a great human being. And he deserves to do it. That's why everybody wants to help him. And I'm a super fan of Sean. And after I became a fan of Ken, now I'm a super fan of Heath and Anna Maria. And hopefully this will be a dream coming true for
It's
sure.
fun, and I've worked with actors that we worked on one project and we didn't really click or it didn't work out, and that's okay. But I like working with people that work well with others, and it's almost a theater mindset of like, rising tides raises all boats. Uh, Competent people, talented people, and I see that in certain actors that I go back to. So now when I work on something new, I basically slot the actors into parts like, oh, Tony can play this and Patricia can play this and Ken can play this and Heath can play this. And then we look at what's left and go, all right, let's get some new people in and see how they fit with everybody and how they fit with the mix. That was so fun because Anna I connected with on social media, and I thought I needed a young girl that was Tori to me was a certain age, certain style, didn't fit in a spaghetti Western world at all. And I thought when I saw Anna, and I thought she was in Dallas, she was in Louisiana, but we just connected, and I thought, let's give this a shot. And then when we brought her in the mix, she fit so well with everybody that it was like, okay, she was supposed to be there. It was perfect for her. And that's why I'm like, okay, I know going forward, we will continue finding ways of bringing Anna in the projects. And as High Moon moves forward, I want to continue with the cast and bring the people on board. It's just, it's the way I see this project moving, and I love working with just talented, good people. That's rare in this world, honestly.
And of course, the downside is now Ken and I will never get to play the young girl. So
No.
Sorry, that one's mine. That's reserved for moi.
yeah, she kind of stole that right out from under us.
Sorry.
I'm the ingenue in the movie. No,
Wait, no. Kenneth and we talked about this actually when we were right before we shot. I was like, wait, like they don't even like need me. Like, Ken, you just take this. I see like you are Tori. I think we even we reversed the roles on one time that we did it. It was so wait, yeah, actually Ken, we made an agreement. So I'm sorry, Heath, but like if anyone's gonna play a young girl,
I'm fine with that. As long as y'all two, we just need to do a film where we swap archetypes. Like Anna's like the old wizened bounty hunter, and Ken's like the young being pursued, screaming through the woods character.
I'll do it. Let's do it.
I'm in.
I need to tell you, yeah. I don't know if you knew or no, but I was going to be Maria. I don't know if Sean thought,
No, it was always Miss Lucia, and it was the girl at the with the flare and the girl with the in the car. And we filmed that. That was a quick pickup. We took Ken out in the car and then dropped him off in a field. And we're like, we're gonna come back. We're gonna go grab this scene, and we'll come right back and pick you up. It was so much movement that day. Where I remember at the end of the day, I was just like, I can't believe all that happened. But and I didn't get everything I wanted, but I got almost everything, which made me feel really positive. But we so wanted you there, Miss Lucia, and that was like, was literally like, Miss Lucia can't make it. I got to find a replacement, and we found Leela through the makeup artist. So she was like, "Oh, I got a friend who could come in and do it." And so, but yeah, it was initially supposed to be Miss Lucia. That's right.
Let's see, maybe next time. Yeah.
And big, I gotta give Sean. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. Like, this is the first film you've done, right?
Yes, yeah. I had done 2 documentaries before, but I consider this my first film. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's super. I mean, I was really, it surprised me because I was Sean, and I was like, for a first film, it was impressive. I thought it was like organized, great cast, great crew, everything. A lot of times your productions can be a little like, you get off on, you're like, I was a little disorganized, or it took way longer than it should have, or they didn't really know. And this was the opposite. It was like so efficient, and just like you would have thought this was his 10th film,
Yeah, that's what I really appreciated about this too, because like Sean said, he found me on social media, which was like so crazy. And so we were talking, and I was like, yeah, like a lot of people reach out to me. And it's, usually their first time, which everyone has to start somewhere. So, I just applaud people who do it, because that's so important to getting started. But yeah, so I was just kind of like, I'm not really sure this is gonna work out. And I was like, yeah, I'm all the way in Louisiana. And the thing that just so impressed me is that was his first time like directing a theatrical project like that. But he had union members there. I'm SAG-AFTRA eligible. Like this set was so professional, which really, and even just the way that he emailed me to tell me about the project was just really like he had a plan, he knew what was going on, and had a solid script, and just everything was in line, which was just so cool for me as an actor, especially from social media, because a lot of those things, you say no to, but this was just so exciting because it was from that, but everything was laid out, and then getting to set, and he was just such a great director to work with, and everyone on set was so professional. And I mean, especially because it was a period piece too. I mean, you really have to get those right or it just looks weird. And like the hair and makeup that they did for me and everybody, and the wardrobe, everything was just so specific and thought out, and it just made it such a wonderful experience as a professional to come on and get to work with this group of people, and then getting to see the trailer. And you can kind of tell too when you're on set, how the filming day is going. That gives you a good idea onto, what the final product is going to be like. And you just get much more, I feel like you get better acting and better overall, production quality and performance when, things are organized, and when you have a director who really cares about the project and allows everyone to add their own, specialty. He wasn't, like micromanaging every single person. He trusted us to do what we do best. And that wasn't just for actors, but for everybody. So it was such a great project to work on. And then, getting to see how cool the trailer was. I was not surprised, but it was really nice to see it all come together.
Sean is, in my opinion, the best of both worlds as a director in that he has a vision. So he's not just like, I'm not really sure what I'm like. He has a vision, but he's completely open to collaboration and suggestions and feedback. So he's not stuck to his vision. It's like, no, it's not, if you deliver a line, if you go like, I think I'd probably say it more like this, he'd be like, oh, great. Yeah, do that then. But he does also have a vision. So he's driving the ship, and you never feel like it's just wandering around like, do we know what's going on here? What's happening? So it's that perfect. He knows what he wants, but he's totally open to seeing where the adventure takes him as well.
Well, the very
I think
fact
it's important. Oh, go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
We were talking about this earlier. The very fact that he picked us, that he picked Anna Maria and Heath and myself and all these other people, that we are part of his vision. We are part of that final vision. And he trusts us, our instincts, because he knows us, to do our job. And he had a very clear, very organized vision. I've been on multi-million-dollar sets that weren't disorganized. So yeah, we have fun and we play around within who we are. But Sean trusts that as part of the process. Does that make sense? In other words, he picks Anna Maria out, he picks Heath out, he picks myself out as part of that process, that he knows this is going to work. What they come up with is what I have in my mind. And we may come up with something he didn't even have in his mind, but he goes, oh, hell yes, I'm all over that. So it was fun. It's work, it's play, it's fun, it's organized, and it worked, and everybody bought into it. That's the main thing. The material, it all starts with the page, and he wrote the script as well. And so when we looked at what the script was, we all bought into it from the get-go.
But I knew this would be fun, and it really, the audio projects honestly helped be a training ground, because there's a lot of chaos to get to the moment of, and I'm very adamant at when we're actually doing the work, there's a calmness, and it gives the actors the ability to do what they want to do, what they can do, and also, yeah, bring their thoughts to it. But everything around it is a chaotic bubble that's insane. So I really am adamant at leaving that when we're working, we're focused on what we're focusing on. But my head is already 3 steps forward, like what's coming, what do we got to do, where are we going next? But it also allows the actors the ability to just work in a calm, comfortable environment. And I was really lucky, fortunate with the crew I connected with. We all kind of worked, got the project together. I mean, everybody, hair and makeup, costume, effects, makeup, the camera. Daniel was amazing as the DP. It was just a really solid team. And there wasn't anybody lagging behind him. And I tend to throw in family, friends, professionals. It's a whole mix of people. And it just makes for a fun atmosphere, but also a working atmosphere. And I have a checklist of things that have to get done, and we just move through that line. And this, I was trying to do it all in a day. That probably should have been a 2-day shoot, to be honest. But I was just, stretching the money that I had as far as I could, thinking, all right, this is going to be a long, long, long day. But I got it. And multiple setups, not a lot of takes, primarily because I didn't have the time. And it was important to get what I needed and move on and go to the next setup. And the crew worked with me until they were basically ready to throw me overboard, but I still got everything I needed. So it worked fine. I was extremely happy with how this one turned out, to the point where, yes, doing this on a bigger scale, I can see it. It's not a far-fetched dream. It's like, oh yeah, we can do this, no problem.
And Sean, now that the trailer is out, what are your plans for the project moving forward?
I've connected with a line producer. We've pulled together a preliminary kind of a business plan, scene breakdown, budget breakdown. So really the next step is investors, trying to connect with investors who are interested in the project, looking at the material that we have, and the idea of shooting it in Texas, which has brought their incentive program back. 20%, I think, is the incentive program. But it's just a step. And I'll admit, I'm in uncharted waters here. So I'm actually going to talk to a producer in Austin this coming week that I'm meeting with, who has connections with investors and tries to connect filmmakers to investors who are looking for projects. So this has never been, I do come from a business background, and my mindset in this has been, realistically, how can we pull this off? How can I make this particular project come to life beyond the page, beyond the proof of concept short film? Do I go the festival route with the short and try to generate interest on that? Right now, I think it was getting it edited and to the point where I had enough of a sizzle reel to show off what this project could be. Next step really was connecting with the line producer, which I've done, had a business plan drawn up, had a shot breakdown, scene breakdown. I think it's a 30-day shoot on this one. Budget breakdown for 3 different types of budget possibilities. This is all material that an investor would look at to see, is this a realistic project? Is this something that will actually happen? And it is my intention of making this thing fly. So I'm doing everything I can to push it forward, even looking at the European film market, which is coming up in Berlin in February, to go out there with the material to try to connect with potential investors to get this off the ground. So I'm not just resting on a really cool trailer, which rocked. I was really happy with how the trailer looked, but that is a step in the next direction, in the right direction to keep moving this forward, which I have every intention of doing.
Yes, hopefully we'll have High Moon in the cinemas and we'll be celebrating with all of you.
And it's funny because where you're at, Miss Lucia, is really kind of the birthplace of the spaghetti Western, which is, Spain and Italy. And this to me was always this idea of an homage to the 60s kind of hardcore Sergio Leone vibe of spaghetti Western with a monster movie thing, which now is in vogue all of a sudden with Sinners that came out. Am I saying that? Is that the film? And a couple other ones. Bride of Frankenstein's about to drop, which is playing with genre. And that's what really this is. It's a hybrid it's a spaghetti Western werewolf movie at its core. That's really what this is. And it just feels like the time is right. Horror always tends to be a low risk, high yield type of investment, that the cost is not as much as the potential outcome. Filming in Central Texas, and part of the reason of doing this for me was the talent base here. Ken, Heath, I mean, they really come from a core of amazing actors, professional actors. And that's what I love. I love working with professionals first and foremost. Talent is great. And you find that here. It's Central Texas, I think, is a great place to work in. And it's as Western as it gets. Texas carries weight all around the world. So I just feel like this little werewolf project that I wrote years ago could come to fruition. There's no reason why it can't. It makes sense. I've yet to see a reason why not to do this. So everything keeps telling me, let's do this. And yeah. And then connecting with Anna, Heath, Patricia, Tony, just the people that I love to work with, meeting other actors, bringing in producers on board, connecting with a solid DP and editor. It's going in the right direction, definitely.
And there's no no better title for a werewolf Western than High Moon. Like, you just can't get any better than that.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish I could stay here for more 2 hours listening to you. Yeah. It was beautiful to meet with all of you here and to know the ones, Anna Maria and Heath, that I didn't know before. So again, thank you so much, Sean, Anna, Keith, and Ken for joining me today and sharing such great insights and stories, yeah, about High Moon and about your work. And I would like to invite you to come back anytime if you have something to talk to us, um, everything that can be relatable. Our doors are always open for you. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in to the RV Book Fair. So again, thank you. And I hope we can meet in person, yes? Next time.
Thank you, Miss
Yes.
Lucia, always.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, stay safe, stay creative. Thank you. And you can learn more about Sean, Anna, Ken, and Heath in the Relatable Voice magazine in December issued. So I'm Lucia Matuonto and see you next time.